Hello, you guys, and welcome back to Gas Tracks. This is my first interview with Archer O. With your new album, what were you mostly inspired from, artist-wise or just like genre-wise?
We've been working on this album for like 6 years. So when we first started, it was like a solo project at first, and I did a folk kind of acoustic album. And I'm like, and then I'm gonna do a transition album, and then it's gonna go into like more like garage rock and stuff. But like kind of as we kept going, kept building it, kind of kept working on it, like we kind of like fell more in love with the idea of just this album. The primary influence for me in terms of like what I wrote and what I play, The Districts by their album Flourish and the Spoil. Like I was like 16 when I heard that album, like it changed my life. I was like, oh, this is how you write music. It's like I wish I wrote like music like that. And everyone else, like they brought like different stuff to the table in terms of that.
I think it's still true to the idea that it is a transitional album. I guess it just kind of spread, and now it's just more of a band, you know.
I am curious, what did you guys bring to the table? Did you guys bring like inspiration?
I mean, honestly, it was mostly Archie. You know, he writes everything, really. I guess just our acquired style, you know, because you can tell us play this, and we can play it a certain way. It'd be kind of difficult to replicate, you know. Like Diego's an awesome guitarist, shredder. There have been times where like something happens that I have to play guitar, and it's just, you know, it doesn't sound the same. Sometimes, you know, bit parts that we'll come up with, like I wrote a solo from one of the songs, or some bass lines, you know, but I would say it's mostly Archie.
How you mentioned, it did take like 6 years for all these songs to just be put together in this album and for it to be released. And we've been playing these songs live for like throughout that whole time we've been playing as a band. So I feel like some of the stuff, those little nuances, those little stylistic choices have also just been added in through like developing these songs and like the live form, and then just actually getting to record some of them like after all that.
And we
that way.
We sort of tend to like feed off of each other, you know? And it's a real individual thing. I think the four of us growing like together really kind of rounded us out and made us what we are, you know?
Man, that's why it took 6 years.
Perfectionism, because we have some of those songs we tried recording like 3 or 4 times on our own, and we'd be like, this is the one, and we'd be like, this is not the one. I don't like this, and like we would try again, and like I don't know, it's like we do everything ourselves. Like we really wanted it to sound good. I'm like, it's not ready, this and that, and then we were gonna put it out finally like in 2019, but we didn't, and then we're gonna put it out finally in 2020, and then, you know, COVID, and then we're gonna put it out 2021, and then finally I think at the end of 2021 we were like, let's just go record this thing, and like we're really happy with how it sounds now. If we had put it out when we originally intended back in like maybe like 2018, 2017, it wouldn't have sounded as good or grown into it as it is now.
It's the fact that we did it like on our own, I think took longer than if we would have done it professionally.
Yeah, if we went to a studio, they would have just got it and like, here you go.
Something I kind of learned on the note of perfectionism, because I definitely would feel a certain way about that, whether it's like the singles we released or like now the album, where I'd be like, oh, like no, now it's finally ready, and we'd all, especially at the time, it definitely feels that way. And like, you know, I think we're all proud of what we put out. Playing these songs after the release, I feel like I still am like changing them and like playing them differently. So like, I think what I also took away from that was like, you know, even if it could be better, I feel like it shouldn't stop us from putting stuff out, you know, because they're always gonna grow. Like a lot of these songs keep growing with us.
Yeah, nobody plays their songs the same life, you know?
Exactly.
So 6 years is a really long process, and you were growing and learning more about yourself and like the process of developing music. But what did you learn in this process to like become a better artist, essentially?
Just not being so hard on yourself, and kind of like letting go of your ego a little bit, and kind of being able to grow and allow things to change. So like, for example, like I would write a certain part and I'd be like, here's the part, play it. And then they play it kind of differently. And like, I think in the beginning, like when we first started, I'd be like, no, play it like this. But then like as we went on, I'd be like, that actually sounds pretty cool. Let's do it like that. Or there's like a time when we were recording vocals on the album with Aaron, our producer, and like I'd done like a million takes of this one specific part, and like I was like, I think I got it. No, that wasn't good. Let me try again. And then Aaron was like, if you didn't get it like the first like 40 times, you're not gonna get it this next time. And so I'm like, okay, you're right. Well, let's just work with what we have. And I think that's another lesson that we learned pretty early on, just working with what you have and trying to refine that.
What are some fond memories you guys created or remember from the album making?
The whole thing when we went to the desert, that was so fun. We like rented a house and it was just, us friends. That's another thing. We're all really good friends, us. The four of us. It was work, but it's also playtime when there. That whole weekend was just a really, really fun memory for all of us.
We also got to play the Indio and Tamale Festival,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which kind of also put a strain on the time we had to record.
It was
5 of us in a tiny little.
Yeah, in a tiny little truck, and like, we suffered on the way there, but that's another memory for us. Yeah, to look back at it and laugh.
Yeah, we go through a lot of like tough times. It's like everything is difficult for us, but like.
All right.
No. Well, listen, we've gone through a lot of stuff, but like we're all together for it, which is why it's like not so bad.
And I hopped in like prime time, like after they had to deal with all the crap,
Yeah, we were low-key bitter. We were like, Juan didn't have to deal with any of like the bad shows.
Whoa.
But there was plenty of bad shows
I
after.
did. No,
but
we for sure did, but
just he didn't have to play any malls or
Yeah,
bars and grills.
yeah, that was fun though.
When was it established, said, okay, we're a band, let's to be a little bit more serious now? When was that, taken into account?
It was the first time we all played together, the four of us. For me, anyway, that was the first. Or the first time we all practiced together and it was successful,
It was like the summer of 2017 where all four of us kind of came together, but we were already like, oh, we're a band. It was like summer of 2016 because Pedro and I were already playing together, and I was like, I'm Archie and this is Pedro, he's helping me on drums. And then people were like, oh, that band, Archie, they're cool. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Archie, because I'm kind of sentimental. I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, it was a band. I like that more than.
Since you guys are all friends, have you guys ever ran into challenges or disagreements, and how did you overcome it?
It's kind of just communication, I think, trying to have those conversations. I guess kind of holding each other accountable, because we are friends. I know we all have our own shortcomings and stuff. We all have reasons to get mad or angry or disappointed with other people, but it's kind of working to get through that. For example, on this tour, I know, I'm particularly messy, in terms of, clutter. I just be throwing my stuff around, and then everyone's like, clean up your stuff, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying, and then I don't, but then, I try, and then I don't.
It's a family thing, because we've grown together, we've had those conversations, we've grown to know our tendencies, know who's messy, who's not, and trying to hold each other accountable for that stuff. But at the end of the day, we know, we always have each other's backs regardless of that stuff, because that's all we have.
That's something we learned. We only have each other.
That's right.
Yeah. That's right.
Just communication, and just compassion, empathy for one another. Because we're all friends, family. I see it that way, especially out here. I mean, I've been living with these guys basically for the past about a month now. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. If you guys don't know Archer O, they're phenomenal, and you guys should check them out. Thank you.